Right. Greetings, dearest viewers, and welcome to the Mists of Eden. My name is Mafia Cat Chamomile, otherwise known as Ghoul Cat Studios, and it is my darkest pleasure to serve as your keeper of arcane lore today, or keeper for short. However, what is a keeper without their investigators of the unknown? Let us meet our investigators and the characters they will be playing. We will start with Bird.
Yeah, howdy, y'all. I'm Avery Cruz, a bounty hunter out here in Louisiana studying law, chasing down a bounty as well, leading me to some strange places and even stranger people.
And next up, we have May.
Hi there, everyone. My name's Clara. I am your psychic extraordinaire, purveyor of the dark arts, occult specialist. You know, a girl has hobbies. Nice to meet you.
And last but not least, Avo.
Hello, I am Chandelier, a maid for the House of Bufords. Nice to meet you.
In the future, we may also be joined by special guests who will act as our non-player characters or NPCs, but for today, this will be our cast. And for now, we start our story in Eden, Louisiana, during the year of 1925 on a late spring evening. Eden is a tight-knit city, nestled along the western coast of Louisiana. It's bordered to the west by the Gulf of Mexico and to the south by an eerie, ever-looming swamp that is veiled in fog. Eden has an air of faded elegance amongst the streets that are bordered with oak trees draped in Spanish moss and old, weathered buildings whose state whispers of better days. On this particular evening, we open on the Buford estate, as preparations for a dance are underway. Ava, as you are hurrying about, you have been placed in charge of preparing for a dance that is going to happen. The Bufords obviously are of high society, so they do like to have their little high society interactions. You, as the head maid, or rather, direct maid to. Oh god, I gotta make sure I grab the right one. I believe it's Vera, but give me a second. I had almost everything ready, I swear.
No worries.
Yes, Vera. She has placed you in particular in charge of making sure tonight's events go smoothly. You know that as well as a dance, there is a silent auction that will be held, hosting a number of different, we'll say artifacts, I suppose. As preparations are going, everything it seems to be going well. And the only thing you have left is... Oh god, where'd I put it? To let the guests in. So, as we prep for the dance, what would our dearest maid be doing? Ava?
Oh my god, I was muted. She would be making sure that she is tidy and clean. There's no dust on her uniform. So she would be by the mirror, just getting the last bits of dust from dusting.
Oh, right. As you are dusting, things are going smoothly. I will have you make the first roll of the game for us today. And I will have
how's
you
everything
roll
with that?
a spot noted, or a spot hidden. So that will be 2d10s to make up a percentile, and you want to roll under what your spot hidden score is.
Cool. Let me just grab my dice. I had them. Give me a moment.
Also crazy. Thank you for the hydrate.
Ah. Then on the other side. I have percentile dice for this.
Lovely.
That's a 98.
Ooh, what is your spot hidden? Like, what is your score for spot hidden? Out of curiosity.
Good question. Sorry, I showed my sheet low.
Or I think it should be spot hidden on this one. I might be thinking of a different system because I play a few.
Okay, Adobe's taking its time. Sorry.
All good.
We got nothing but time.
Mhm. Or rather, if you know off the top of your head, is your spot hidden more than 50 or less?
It is more. I put a lot in spot hidden.
More
I
than 50?
recall.
Alright. Then that will just be a regular fail. Then, as you finish your preparations, everything seems to be in order.
Everything is perfect. I guess let the guests in.
And simple as you go to the doors and open them for the guests. There aren't many people already there. It is still early for the party, and as you know, some people do prefer to arrive fashionably late. However, there is a assortment of people, including our other two investigators here, who are already there and ready. And simple enough, you lead everyone to the ballroom. As we're going,
Right this way?
Fancy digs.
the inside of the Buford estate is quite lavish. Obviously, being a family of old money, there's no shortage of extravagance that they wouldn't spend. Notably to at least, we gotta look, May. You, having been here, know your way around the place. However, you do notice a few new, additions to the decor here and there. Let me see.
Did you want me to do
roll-
a roll for my visions?
Oh, we should do that too.
Okay.
Then I'll have you make 2 rolls for me.
Oh, Jesus.
Um,
Okay.
I will, of course, have you make that luck roll, and we'll see how that goes. But additionally, I
go
would
fun.
like you to make an occult roll for me, and let me know what that roll is as well.
All right. My luck was a. Oh God. I get to play the game of is this a 6 or a 9 again? I
Favorite
believe
game.
that's a 92.
A 92.
I believe I am tripping balls.
That is, I will say, I'm going to, with that being the roll you made, I will give you a bonus die on this occult roll that you're about to make, so I will roll that for you.
Oh, hell yeah. Is the bonus die also a d10?
By the grace
Yeah,
of
I'll
the
roll
end.
that for you.
Oh, okay. I got a 97.
Okay, well, what is your occult score? Is not that high. All right. Um, you can tell that there are definitely new additions. However, you are currently caught up in visions of some sort of shadows looming around. At first, they just seem kind of normal, but then as you look a little deeper, perhaps you think about it, they almost seem to shift and move, and you get the
Oh,
feeling of them
Lord.
staring at you.
Now, what are they
That's
looking
always
at?
nice.
And let's see. Berg, I'll say, you having been a bounty hunter and also having your share of seeing strange things, I'll let you roll occult if you would like to as well.
All right. Let's see what the dice have in store for me today.
Hopefully they're nicer to you than they are to me. Jesus.
And me, goddamn, we've rolled nothing but
Occult's fine. That's
90s.
36,
A 36
which is above my occult.
above your occult. Then you do have a slightly uneasy feeling, but as a majority, nothing really seems out of the ordinary other than the obvious rich people having strange things around.
Well, I'm a little tense from the day's events, anyways, and given the information that I was given and what I'm here for, being a little tense is understandable.
Of course. As you all make your way into the ballroom, a figure stands at the top of a grand staircase that exits into the room. Let me. Oh my god. I have too many notes in too many places. Okay, let me go. There we go. At the top of the stairs is a tall woman who has an air of grace and faded elegance about them. Her hair is graying black, and it's worn in loose waves. Her eyes are of a piercing hazel. When one looks at her, they almost seem to stare right through them, as if looking into the deepest parts of your soul. Her face, obviously still beautiful, but shows signs of stress and age, perhaps due to the family burdens she might deal with. It's now that everyone recognizes this is very clearly Vera Buford. A socialite in her younger years, she now spends her days in seclusion at the estate, not often heard from, though often throwing these sort of parties and dances. Let's see. As you come in, she kind of gives a not grimace, but a smile that you can very clearly tell is one of pain and would almost appear to be a grimace if looked at properly. And she kind of glances over you. Welcome, esteemed guests. I hope tonight will be a night of joy and revelry for us all. I will not be joining quite yet, as I still have a few more preparations to make, but please do mingle amongst yourselves. If you need anything, feel free to ask. Any of the staff will be more than willing to help. And, Avo, you notice her giving you a side glance in particular, as she
I will
turns to leave.
I will simply Patsy.
And with that, you are now in a room full of various high society goers and free to interact.
Right. Avery in particular is going to be looking for Julian.
Yeah.
Seeing if he can suss him out. Or Julian, rather.
Mm-hmm. I will let you. I'll say you can roll luck to see if maybe they've made it yet, or if they might still be doing their own thing.
Can I also do that for Cassandra?
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Ooh. Perfect.
Please,
All
for
right.
the love of God, be nice to me.
That is right at 70, which is my
Um,
luck.
all right. And
58.
58. All right. What is? I think that's lower than your luck. So I think that's
My
also a
luck is
success.
75.
All right. Then, Avery, Yulian does appear to be there. Yeah, he is to the side, kind of not quite talking, but you can tell he's a little anxious. So he seems to be acquainting himself with one of the various houseplants. As for Cassandra, of course, the figurehead of the house wouldn't be spotted anywhere but in the center of the party, kind of mingling amongst a couple other members. Avo, is there anything you would like to do? Oop, did I cut out?
Are you?
No,
Are
you're
they
still
muted
on.
again?
um, it was muted again. Um, I will be walking around and making sure that every guest is being attended to as per my lady's instructions.
Of course. I will say, every guest seems to be fine, and this probably doesn't come as a surprise to you. But you do notice, of course, Yulian does seem a little out of it, though that doesn't necessarily seem odd to you. He's
Yeah, that
a
is
little
him,
less than social at times.
always hiding behind plant.
However, you do notice one thing that would be a little out of the normal, perhaps. It seems someone's actually making an effort to go interact with him, which maybe not necessarily the most out of the ordinary, but a little different than what you would usually expect.
That is certainly out of the norm. I will slowly make my way over there and attempt to eavesdrop on the conversation.
Of course. We will start with May, and then we'll get over to the conversation with Yulian. May, you, like I said, can see Cassandra, socializing with, quite a few of the other guests. You know she's fairly popular and does like to socialize, to a degree at least.
Okay. Take a beeline for her. But like a casual beeline. Like I am moving with a purpose, but also trying to be casual about it and probably failing. Because I am tripping balls.
I will say, actually, you are, in fact, tripping balls. Let me look real quick.
I am, in fact, tripping balls.
What
Keeping
would
it
I...
interesting.
What? How can I use that? No, I'm kidding. I will say, we won't call it any particular role, but I'll say, I guess, dexterity to see if you can maintain some form of composure.
Composure? Okay.
It is quite
31.
easy. 31. Well, that definitely succeeds. It's quite easy for you to move around without letting the fact you're tripping balls get to you much anymore.
I'm
You don't
used to
show
tripping
it.
balls.
You don't show it in your body language as much due to how often it happens to you. You are a little out of it, but you easily enough manage to go unnoticed in terms of tripping.
Okay.
As you make your way. And you do easily enough kind of... Sorry, I was moving something. You do easily enough find your way and kind of scoot into the conversation. It seems like as you arrive, they were talking about a scandal, obviously. Drama.
A scandal.
The tea is being
Drama.
spilled. Very particularly, it is talking about, let me see, what's her name? All right. The snippet you hear right before you make your presence known, I suppose.
Hmm.
It's just a shame, really. You know, the Finches, they used to be well respected, and now this little scandal going around. It's unfortunate to see how the mighty fall sometimes. And that is when you make your arrival.
Cassandra, dear. Lovely, lovely party you have going on. Sorry, am I interrupting?
Oh, not at all, Clara.
Wonderful. I would hate to interrupt. Um, could I borrow you for a moment, dear?
She gives you an unsure kind of glance. You get the sense it might be a little more to try and pull her away from such esteemed guests. She might need a little more to work with.
You see, well, as you know, my psychic senses are quite strong, and I just had a little bit of a premonition I thought you might want to know. Of course not. I could share it in front of these wonderful people as well, if that is something you would prefer for me to do.
I see, I see. And she'll kind of turn to the others. It is now that I will bid you adieu for a bit. And they kind of nod. Everyone, at least to a degree, has heard about you. So they all kind of don't necessarily question it as they disperse a little bit and you step to the side.
Okay.
You said you had a premonition?
Yes, well, specifically as relates to this, and she just kind of like does the little like circular hand gesture. Well, how do I put this? I was inquiring at the at my little workplace, and I had learned about the silent auction, and of course this is all before the invitation arrived, but I did a tarot reading, and I have some concerns.
Concerns?
Concerns,
Of what
yes.
variety?
I fear that, where did you acquire these artifacts?
Oh, well, as trusted as you are, I'm sure you understand I need to keep some form of ambiguity.
Understand, however, I fear that, you may have, purchased some things that are quite dangerous.
She raises a brow curiously. She's very clearly intrigued, but also hesitant to the notion that something could ever go wrong under her watch.
You see, there are, quite a bit of things that go bump in the night, as you will, and you seem to have attracted the attention of one of them.
She does a quick glance around. I will look into it. There was one thing that
Mm.
I wasn't sure I liked the feeling of. There was a book.
A book?
A collection of writings that was found in the basement of the college
Oh.
that have been since collected together and formed into some sort of manuscript of sorts.
Mm-hmm.
It was
And-
strange, but when they offered to let us have it to auction off, I was not in a position to deny such things.
Mm-hmm. Would I possibly be able to inspect this book, this collection, just to make sure that there is nothing attached to it, of course. We would hate to have a scene at such a lovely, lovely event. And like out of the corner of my eye, I'm like, "Why are you staring at me?"
She doesn't necessarily notice that, and will say, Yulian was in charge of keeping track of everything.
Ah,
If you want to talk to him, he'll know he was in charge of bringing it out when the event comes up.
very well. I will not trouble you with this no longer, and instead go and strike up a conversation with Yuli, and hopefully he is not quite as overwhelmed as the last time I saw him.
He has been strange in recent days. While I'm sure
Strange.
his hobby for plants or whatever gives him ample reason to go explore outside of town, he just, the other day, he came back acting a little different, is all.
Ah, well, has he perhaps mentioned anything about a man with striking a man with striking blue eyes staring at him
He kind of,
at all?
she kind of raises a brow. I do not pry into Yulian's interactions, I guess. It's not any of my business there. What he
Well,
does in his free time is his business.
Plants with eyeballs, perhaps? Never mind. I suppose I should just speak with Julian then. Thank you so much, Cassandra dear. It's always a pleasure.
Of course. And she kind of, after that last comment, she's a little unsure, and she quickly slides away.
Yeah, who's not into eyeball flowers?
No. Me.
Avery, you make your way over to Yulian, who is sort of sheepishly poking at the houseplant, trying to like get his leaf to stay up at a level that he seems to want it at.
Okay.
Also, thank you for the hydrate.
Hydrate
Y'all
before you dehydrate.
Casually make my way over and well, seem to have a little bit of a plant trouble there.
Hi,
Could be Yuli and Beaufort, right?
he kind of sheepishly looks at you. That is correct.
Would I recognize what kind of plant this is?
It is a Monstera deliciosa, otherwise known as the Swiss cheese plant.
Interesting. Right. Saying get a little problem with wilting there. Could be like a sun. Could be a little bit of water needs. Got a little bit of an interest in botany myself. Avery Cruz. Pleasure to meet you.
Well, you already know me, but Julian Beaufort. And he kind of extends a hand. When he does, I want you to roll spot hidden for me. Avo, since you kind of came over to eavesdrop, I'll also allow you to roll.
Okie dokie.
Excellent. That is a 20, which is below my spot hidden.
What is your spot hidden again, Avery?
I just got the base 25.
20. Okay. I had to make sure that wasn't a critical success because I think at least one of us that would have been.
Yeah, not for me.
I just about manage it with an 89.
Just. How close is that to your score?
1 point away.
1 point above or below?
So it's it's my score's 90. In spot hidden.
Ah, all right. Then yeah, you also, both of you notice, on his hand, he is of course, of very good complexion. You know, smooth skin, usually perfect and without blemishes. In fact, he's almost known for that. Almost abnormally, you barely spot, it seems like there's an inky cloud that shifts under his skin for a moment. But it's not there when you look.
Interesting. I'll take his hand. Shake it.
You also notice, Avery, he feels, I guess, not deathly cold, but he does feel abnormally cold.
Seemed like you got a little bit of the chills there. I can recommend a couple of things to remedy that if you need. But I've heard you're a bit of a botanist yourself. Heard you might have something interesting kept in the greenhouse.
He kind of laughs sheepishly. Oh, actually, yeah, I do. I like to keep a variety of plants. I've been researching them. I think some of them have great potential. I think there's always been more to plants than we really give them credit for.
Indeed there is. Indeed there is. My line of business took me beyond the comforts of civilized society often, so I had to rely on the knowledge I gained growing up to supplement the medicines that I had.
Of course. There's no shortage of medicine just growing around, admittedly. Was there
Yeah.
one in particular you were curious about?
Actually, there was. I came across something a little interesting. I wasn't sure about it, and I was told that you may be able to help me out. Now, I couldn't quite gauge what the scent was, but given a whiff of it, made me feel might have had a bit of an acrid taste to it. You know, almost like you're getting sick.
Oh. Well, I mean, there are several plants out there known to mimic smells or perhaps imbue sickness. The corpse flower, for example, is one of them, though that would be a rather hard one to come across. And he kind of thinks on it for a moment. I suppose there are some that might fit that bill, though.
Now, I think some poor
3 or
fool
4
might have
that I can think of that I even own myself.
interesting. Now, I think some poor fool might have tried to make a tea of it, thinking it might have helped with something else, but it made him ill, rather. Now, what could possibly cause that?
What type of ill do you speak of? I mean, poisons and plants can all interact in various different ways.
Well, the difference between poison and medicine is all in the dose, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. That is true.
Well, the poor fella, a friend of mine, fell unconscious after he drank it.
Oh.
Yeah, I feel like someone might have ripped him off, sold him a bad cold remedy.
I will have you roll. I'll say, let me see. Psychoanalysis or, psychoanalysis, yeah.
Okay.
On him real quick.
Man, nothing in there. Let's see. Yeah, that's not going to go.
Yeah, he's like, I mean, like I said, there are any number of plants. I'd have to have something to reference, but do you think you'd recognize it if you smelled it or saw it, perhaps?
Possibly. If I managed to get my hand on what it was they brewed up, you think you could tell me what it is?
Absolutely. I'd be happy to. You notice the more the conversation steers towards just plants and not anything other than that, the more he kind of opens up and his posture kind of lightens up. He seems less stressed as the conversation goes to a topic he's comfortable with.
Well, excellent. I would very much appreciate it. Very much appreciate it. Perhaps I could come by and call on you tomorrow.
For sure.
Well, excellent. I'd love to see what you're working on and see if you've got any rare specimens you wouldn't mind showing off.
I mean, admittedly, I'm not much of a party person. If you wanted, I could show you the greenhouse.
I'd love that. Absolutely.
I will say, around now, Clara is when you arrive.
Julian, darling,
Oh, hey, Clara.
I need to talk to you. Oh, sorry to interrupt. I didn't realize that you were with, a guest. Clara, nice to meet you.
Ma'am, and I'll take off my hat and give you a nod. It's no problem when a beautiful woman interrupts your conversation.
Well, do you mind if I borrow him?
Of course, of course. I'll be around, Julian.
Of course. He kind of gives a smile. It
And
is...
I'll saunter off, but kind of stay a little close, being surreptitious about it.
Mm-hmm. Are you walking away enough that perhaps you wouldn't be able to overhear whatever's said next? Or are you staying in the general area?
I'm staying in the general area.
All right. But yeah, he turns to Clara. Is everything all right?
I have multiple questions for you. The first is, could I perhaps... Your sister told me about this book that you acquired. Could I...
He notably, anyone could tell, his demeanor changes completely. Before he was lightening up, almost seeming to relax when the talk of the plants was happening. You mention the book, and immediately his eyes kind of dart, like almost as if examining every part of you. However, he doesn't necessarily say anything, but he noticeably has an air of paranoia about him now.
I just kind of...
The book?
Yes, the book. I believe you know exactly which book I'm talking about. I need to see it.
I don't know if I can allow that. I'm supposed to hold it until the auction.
I spoke to your sister and it's fine. She sent me over here.
Oh, okay. You said there were multiple questions? I can show you the book after.
A man with blue eyes. Does that ring any bells for you?
I'll have you roll either psychology or psychoanalysis, or if you have another skill you might want to use here to gauge his reaction. I will let you.
I got a 23.
On psychoanalysis? Or what did you want to roll for that?
Hold please. Please.
Yeah,
on psychoanalysis.
All right.
Which is a 71.
That is a critical, or not a critical success. That's a hard success from you. You have obviously interacted with the Bufords quite a bit. You know Julian decently well. He has a good well of information that you can rely on from time to time. You mention the piercing blue eyes, and he has a mix of reactions. He's conflicted mostly. On the one hand, you can tell a deep, piercing fear almost seems to shoot through him at the first instant. And after a moment, there's also a sort of longing look in his eyes.
All right, I will take that as a yes.
I might know some people like that, or someone like that.
Would you be able to put me in touch with him?
We'll see. He kind of says,
Right.
not quite dismissively. You know he's acknowledging you, but you can also tell with your earlier role, he's very clearly not
He's
saying as
guarded.
much as he could. He's hesitant and guarded about this. Avery, something that sticks out to you
Yes.
since you're staying around, sort of listening in. These
Uh-oh,
piercing
second
blue
audio's cutting
eyes are. Did you say something? I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
Okay, it's back in.
Okay.
What were
never
you,
mind. You hearing this, those piercing blue eyes, you've heard them mentioned, and sort of attempting to be depicted before on a very particular wanted poster that you've seen recently.
Mr. Finch?
And with
Interesting.
the mention of the figure, Avo, you also know something about this. In recent days, Yulian has frequently had a guest visit the greenhouse, almost daily. You haven't necessarily ever got too good of a look. You know, Yulian's a little private about his friends and interactions. But you do know the person you've seen visiting does have some striking blue eyes.
Interesting.
And with that, he kind of looks to Clara. I don't have the keys to the greenhouse right now. I'd need to grab them real quick, but that's where I am keeping everything. And he kind of looks around until he sets eyes on Avo, and he's like, I could get the keys though. And he almost not quite beckons, but he sort of tries to persuade with his eyes, almost a pleading, like, please help look to Avo.
Blinking Morse code.
I will head over. How can I help you, sir?
Yes, I know you hold the keys to everywhere. Could you accompany me and our guest here to the greenhouse? Just for a moment, I just need the unlocked temporarily.
Oh, why, of course.
Go
I'm
to the greenhouse.
Happy to help. Right this way.
Yeah.
And I'll begin leading them towards the greenhouse.
All right. And onward
Can
we
I?
go.
Can I do a like surrounding sweep of like being able to tell if anybody's listening in or any like psychic energies are like poking about?
Yeah, I will say you can easily do just a spot hidden as your kind of sweep to notice. Avery, how are you trying not to be noticed by anyone in particular? Like, are you very clearly trying to be stealthy about it, or are you just in the area, kind of trying to be nonchalant and not be noticed? What way are you going about the eavesdropping?
Yeah, Avery's trying to stay pretty nonchalant about everything and, meander over and follow them at a little bit of a distance, not enough for them to get suspicious, but close enough that he can make his way to the greenhouse as well.
Yeah, for the spot hidden, there will be one thing you instantly note, but I will have you roll your spot hidden, Clara, and Avery, I'll have you roll stealth.
Yeah, I got a 10.
A 10?
Okay.
Yeah. My spot hidden is a 25.
So that is
Excellent.
a hard success for you, Clara.
Mm-hmm.
So my stealth is at 50. I rolled a 40.
40. So that is a success. However, with Clara's hard success, she does beat your stealth. So Clara, the first thing you notice, again, kind of only momentarily, on Yulian's face, there's a temporary, like, kind of patch, or cloudy patch of inky black that seems to, in a second, kind of move across his face, almost as if underneath his skin, and then disappear, in almost blink and you'll miss it type of speed. And you do notice there does seem to be someone who's not quite following directly, but does seem to be meandering behind you in a clearly following manner.
Okay. I am going to just take a one moment. Just one quick moment before we continue on to the greenhouse, and just do a very quick like turn, stare Avery dead in the eyes.
Avery, and Avo, you see this too. Clara turns and, with a piercing gaze, has very clearly spotted Avery.
Yeah, I'll meet her eyes and I'll give her a wink.
I will roll my eyes, walk towards him, and just like look at him and be like, okay. On a scale from 1 to 10, do you have a gun on you, sir?
Now that would be most improper to bring to a
Oh, don't bullshit
shindig
me.
such
Do you have a
as
gun
this.
on you?
Yulian quietly
Right.
peering back.
Would I hear this?
Avo, you absolutely, I feel like you absolutely hear this, yes.
I'm gonna square go over. You have a weapon?
Can I roll a fast talk to get them off my case about this?
Let me remember what the,
Do I have to-
counter roll would be.
I was gonna say, do I have to counter roll it?
It would be a counter roll if you're I just gotta remember what the counter for fast talk is.
Okay.
Gotta open my book real quick.
Untested rolls.
Oh,
Ho ho ho!
Abo, honey, I'm sorry. What is your character's name?
me?
Yes.
Chandelier.
Okay.
Yeah, so fast talk can be opposed with either psychology, or alternatively, if you want to attempt to fast talk back and trip up Avery, you could also roll fast talk.
Oh, I'm absolutely Ooh, wait. Yeah, I'm rolling fast talk.
I'm gonna roll
Alright.
psychology against there.
For sure.
I am not sure if I believe what's going on.
I'm also going to have Julian roll fast talk. Or rather, psychology.
All right, let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Yeah, what are y'all's
I'm
what
ready.
are y'all's rolls?
I got a 35.
I rolled a 4.
Oh.
I got close for my dice. Give me a second.
Real
Um,
quick, Avery, what's your fast talk score?
40.
Okay, Ava, what'd you roll?
71.
I believe the person who kind of succeeds here will be Avery with his extreme success.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Avery, go ahead and go about what you say.
Now, miss, as a law-abiding citizen, both as a civilian and as one who works frequently with the law, I would, of course, adhere to the strictest letter of it, and only bring a weapon where such cases would be warranted.
Well, that's a shame because this might be warranted. Anyway, I turn around and keep walking.
Very good.
As a side note, yes, Avery has his revolver and his Bowie knife on him, so...
Okay, I have
Yeah.
a revolver on me too.
As y'all start to walk, Julian doesn't necessarily care if both of you tag along, so he's more than willing. Avery was already gonna come later, so it just makes sense to do all of it in one trip, anyways. So you arrive at the greenhouse. Um, of course, Avo does have the keys, so it's easy enough to get in. The inside
And
is notably more humid. It's I don't know if y'all have ever been to a zoo with a jungle area, but that
Mhm.
Yes.
threshold where you walk and it's what you were used to the new area is noticeable. And you are in a room full of all sorts of exotic plants with various sections. You see a whole carnivorous section, a bunch of tropical plants. There are some even mosses and ferns that have just sort of been let to grow freely about the place. And in the back corner, there is a sort of locked room.
Clara is going to pull a fan out, crack it, and just start fanning herself. Whew! I never get used to the heat in these things.
A little more humid than I'm used to, but the warmth just reminds me of home.
Ugh.
And he kind of wanders off, or not necessarily wanders. It almost seems you take your eyes off of him for a moment, and he doesn't quite vanish, but you don't necessarily see where he wanders off to in the greenhouse in particular. He just seemingly melts into the foliage as he walks in.
I'm gonna turn to both of them.
Not in a, I should note, not melts into the foliage as a mysterious
No, I know. He just
magic.
like
He
went
just,
off into
he
the.
just walks in and he's so used to it that he is no longer perceivable.
I am going to turn to both of my companions here, and I'm just gonna look at them and probably look like I'm tripping balls. Okay.
Oh, right, you do have the. Hey, I'll have you make another luck roll. Unrelated, completely unrelated, nothing to worry about here. But I will have you roll that.
I got a 5.
A
Hey.
5. All right.
Yay!
You have intense bad feeling about everything in this room, but it's not overwhelming you.
Okay. I'm gonna look at both of them and like very conspiratorially like lean in and lower my voice. So, we might have a problem. We might have a problem. You said you don't have a gun. Gun might be needed. Yulian, bad things are going to happen tonight.
If this blue-eyed man's involved and he's the one I'm looking for, then
Fuck the blue-eyed man. Okay, he's part of it, but bad things are going to happen tonight. Somebody might get eaten. It might be me.
I
this is
don't
terrible to
think
hear.
any of these plants are quite large enough for that. But
Not the plants. And she's just like gesticulating wildly.
Oh, Avo.
Yeah.
Um,
Just freaking out in front of
this
this. Like,
this pertains to you in particular. However, there is something that happens that you all notice. Avo, you feel a slight, not necessarily slight, a quick breeze passes you. And you don't necessarily notice anything odd about that at first.
Mhm.
And then the door to the greenhouse has been closed. You all notice.
Well, shit.
Not to worry. I have the keys right here.
Avo, your keys are gone.
Huh? What do you...
Seemingly
Um-
where they were, something has since made them vanish.
Huh.
What is going on here?
Clara's gonna start pacing and muttering unintelligibly.
So, just getting the uneasy feeling now. Avery's gonna kind of quietly and inconspicuously as he can reach into his frock coat like he's just adjusting his clothing and loose his pistol in the holster, getting ready for draw, just in case.
Thank you for that.
Whilst that's going on, Chan's gonna go around and... Julien? Julia?
Yeah.
We're locked in. We're locked in. Where are you?
You kind of hear from the back, locked in? What? But you... Oh. One moment. And, it's now that you notice kind of like the door to that back room I mentioned earlier, seems to be where he's speaking from, and you see it close real quick. And you all do hear, he does appear to be talking to someone in the back room.
Well, that's not good.
It must be that
And
steely blue-eyed friend of his.
Ooh.
what man?
Clara's just gonna move behind Avery.
Avery's just gonna glance out the side of his eye at her and then slowly start making his way to that back room, hand on his pistol.
Of course. Do you all follow?
Yes.
Certainly. I don't want to be left out by myself.
Then yeah, you all approach the room, and immediately noticeable as the shadows kind of fall over the door, you can't quite see into it, it's not very well lit. You do all notice the glowing blue eyes in the shadows. However, as you approach and light shines into the room, they don't appear to be in there, and Julian seems to be alone in the room.
Oh, hell, not
notably,
again.
First thing you notice, this back room is full of a lot of strange things. Not just plants, however, there are plants of very strange varieties. Notable varieties. Some of you remember them. They almost seem to be looking at you, though they don't have any way to do that.
Oh, not again.
Also notable, on
Again.
the desk, there is a kind of notebook, pages scrawled with all sorts of notes in some form of writing. A notable symbol that one of you remembers. You've seen it before. It almost looks like a crest or a seal, but it doesn't belong to any of the families in Eden.
Now, looking at this seal, doesn't look like the one I saw earlier.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I draw.
I knew it!
You draw. I'm going to ask, what is everyone's dex as Avery draws his gun?
85.
Like my base dex?
Your base dex.
My base dex is 60.
All right. And Ava, what's your base dex?
60.
Also 60. Then, as the gun is drawn, there is a swift blur. And standing in front of you, Avery, holding your gun, in a way that the hammer wouldn't be able to fire, because it is a revolver, right?
Yes, it's a 45 revolver.
Holding your the gun with kind of the hand in a way so the revolver would not be able to fire quite yet, is a tall figure who you recognize from a particular poster. He has striking blue eyes and a uncharacteristically pale skin, almost gray even, a little sunken in places. And he seems to have appeared in a blur of some sort of inky smoke. And there's a startled yelp from Yulian, and he's like, we can all calm down here. Clearly there's no need for weapons, right?
Oh, Christ on a stick, don't eat me!
Mr. Julian, this man is a wanted criminal. And if you associate with him...
Yulian is already sitting. His hands are up, kind of just to show he's not threatening, and he's just like, I understand preconceived notions of things, and you can hear his voice kind of shaking. I don't think aggression is the best option to start with. And before I determine what happens next, we'll go to Avery. Avery, you are next highest dex other than Mr. Finch here. So, what would you like to do?
Hear your situation. The other two are behind me, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Right behind you.
Yep.
Alright. I'm not gonna try to remove my gun just yet, but Mr. Finch, it'd be appreciated if you could just come with me and we do this quietly. I think it'd be better for everyone involved here.
I don't think you're in a position to stop me. And
Alright.
given the state of things, I think the party wouldn't enjoy such interruptions.
We'll go for a left hook.
A left. Yeah. Go ahead and
Christ.
just give me a. I believe it's brawl. Is the
Okay, so
yeah.
Am I?
I got a 15 in it, but I got that 25% next to it. So what do I need to beat, or what do I need to roll under?
That will hit.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So 15
15.
left hook straight in the jaw.
You watch, Clara and Avo, as Avery swings, and this figure's jaw comes clean off, and with a sickening ripping and tearing noise, and then a splatting noise as it hits the ground.
Oh,
I will have
God
everyone here
damn it!
make a sanity roll.
Oh no.
Ooh,
I got a 91.
That's my...
it's an 87 for me.
I have misplaced my dice again.
My sanity's 70.
If you have failed, subtract 1 from your sanity.
You know, I didn't need to have sanity.
94. What are these wrong?
You
So,
and me, Avo, you and me.
You all watch as Avery removes this person's jaw. And instead of it reacting, it tilts its head, and you get the sense of if there was a lower jaw there, it would be smiling. As
What is
the room immediately
are
is
so
filled
fucked.
with black, inky smoke, and none of you can see. And
Chris.
after a moment or two, the smoke is gone. The door back to the party is left ajar. The book that Yulian had on his desk is also missing, and the plants are staring at you with eyes. Human eyes. In the center of their flowers. You Avery, immediately have a familiar, sickening scent fill your nose, and for the others, a scent also fills your nose. Um, and it invokes the feeling of sickness, rather. Uh, I'm sure everyone has gotten sick before. That acrid, acidic taste in the back of your throat permeates your entire being as this acrid smell overwhelms and then seemingly starts to fade as the eyes all disintegrate. And you are left in the room. Yulian is also gone.
Told you we were gonna need that gun.
Avery
Uh,
shake his head, shake it off, and turn to Yulian. Say, now, Mr. Beaufort.
Yulian is noticeably not
He's
there.
gone.
He is
Oh,
also
Yulian's gone, okay.
vanished. You do see
Oh, shit.
actually, I'll have you, Avery, if you want to roll a spot hidden real quick. Or track, if you wish. Because I think you also have
Track.
track, which might be more applicable here.
That is more applicable here. Got a 50 in that, and that's going to be a 42.
You notice where Yulian was, the dirt and kind of ground is scuffed, as if he wasn't necessarily... He didn't leave by choice, he was sort of dragged away in a blur.
Yeah.
Thank you for the hydrate, and thank you for the posture check.
Apologize for the language, man, but I think you are right. We might be in for a long night.
Long night is an understatement. We are so fucked. Please
Oh,
tell
no.
me someone else saw the eyeballs this time. Did anybody else see the eyeballs this time?
Is the jaw still on the floor?
The jaw is still on the floor.
Right. I'm gonna pull out a handkerchief from my pocket
Mhm.
and pick that jaw up, wrap it up, and stick it in the pocket of my coat.
Yeah. Avo, how are you feeling? You do. I'll see. How are you feeling about all this?
Just kind of pacing. What's going on? What is all this? I don't quite understand.
Yeah. It is as you're kind of pacing, mumbling to yourself. A few thoughts occur in the following order. Your first thought, obviously, probably being, his jaw just came off and hit the floor. That's horrifying. And your next preceding thought is, if this is who Yulian has been associating with and the family knows about it, is it possible the Bufords knew he would be here?
I think we must head back to the party.
I think we need to get our story straight before we do that.
I think we need to leave.
Well, then we walk and talk.
Oh, Lord.
Now, as
This.
far as we all know, Julian's still here in the greenhouse.
But where are my keys? They'll know it's me if I don't have my keys. Can I look around to see if I can find my keys?
You can roll a spot hidden to try and find him.
Well, if Julian sent you back to the party, it makes sense that you might have kept those keys, right, to lock up after?
I got a 12.
Wow. Yeah, you're looking around. The key, you find them. It seems like whatever had moved them before just kind of batted them away, and they're amongst some of the ferns. And you find them simple enough.
Ah, okay.
Did you find him?
Yes, it appears they were just in the fern over there.
Hey, take a breath. Center yourself before you go back out there.
She's gonna adjust her uniform, be prim and proper. Yes, thank you.
Here you go. Just another night, just another party. I'm sure you've seen things happen here.
Things that
you would-
involve eyeball flowers.
things that you would best be discreet about. Yes?
It is best, we don't discuss the matters like of those nature.
What's your name?
Chandelier.
Bindler. I'm Avery. Now, I get a feeling we're gonna be friends. Cause we might have a lot to talk about after this.
Yes, it's quite certainly been a night.
I don't suppose you know another way out of this,
I do.
We should probably go back out the way
Please.
we came in.
The door is now ajar. The door back to the where you came from.
Oh, I know. She means, like, leave the entire situation.
Fair enough.
If we just go back through the where we came, I can lead you to the front door.
Wonderful. I would rather not, die a premature death due to, being consumed. That is not on my list of ways to go.
How do you
Yeah.
know?
I agree.
How do you know about all this?
Well, Can I roll a...
I mean, you two have obviously interacted before because you both have worked
Mhm.
for the Bufords. Avo, you probably have
Okay.
heard that supposedly at least Clara is psychic, or has some form of mystic energy of some form.
Okay, if that's the case, I will retract my last question.
Well, was it about, like, this particular situation, or just, like, in general?
It was just general.
Oh, okay.
I suppose if I know about who you.
Before we leave, can I break off some of that plant and take it with me?
I'll say if you really wanted to, you could take a whole plant. There are several small potted versions of it.
Don't want to take a whole one, just want to take enough that
Man just steals a potted plant.
might look a little odd if I'm walking out the house with one of the plants, so I just need to take enough that I can stick it in my pocket.
Yes, you can. You can take a cutting of one. Yulian has all sorts of tools for gardening. It's easy enough to find one and get a clean cutting of it.
And I'll do that. Take it with me, because I plan on hitting the library when it opens and pouring through the books on agriculture, wild plants, anything I can get my hands on.
Of course.
YouTube. Now look at Shen. I assume you have quarters in the house, but you, Miss Clara, where do you stay in town?
Ideally, I wouldn't be here anymore. Well... Does it... Well... He already knows where to find me, so... It probably doesn't matter.
Then I'll offer my abode to you if it'll make you feel safer. Plenty of locks on those doors. My line of business, you need it.
Perhaps. Because I have had, quite the last few days.
You look like you could use a drink.
I need several. I truly need several. Well, I don't suppose your gun knows how to kill something that's supernatural in nature.
doesn't, I can figure it out.
Perfect. I'll take you up on that offer then.
Never ran across anything quite this wild, but I've had my share of running across things I couldn't explain. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, and you all return the way you came. And things seem to be going decent at the party. No one really noticed your absence for the most part. However, it does seem things have proceeded. There is one thing you all kind of find odd. Well, yes, a lot of the partygoers will usually just not seem to really notice anything. Perhaps that could be out of the ordinary, just happy to be at a party. It is now that you all notice there do seem members that are not necessarily fitting, attire-wise or presence-wise, compared to the rest of the party. Scattered all around. They all are sort of keeping to corners and shadows of the room. Even some of them maybe up on a balcony, just kind of watching and observing. And they all seem to, even if in an area where shadow might not necessarily fall, they seem to be obscured in a sort of shadow as they watch the goings-on.
Oh, that's not ominous at all.
Not in the slightest. Shan, dear, do you recognize any of these people?
No, I've never seen these people before. I should have been keeping an eye. Okay, I'm gonna be in trouble for this. They're not normally here. I've never seen them before, and their attire is certainly not up to the Beeford family standard.
Before you go and perhaps alert Cassandra, give me one moment. Can I do a psychic check of the
Yeah, I'll say you can
area
roll a cult if you'd like. What is it in particular you're trying to perceive or notice?
I am trying to ascertain the nature of our new friends / if there's any like extra bad juju in the air as a result of Mr. Finch possibly absconding with Julian.
Of course.
I got a 4.
A 4.
Life is
I
good
believe that
sometimes.
is an extreme success. With an extreme success, you notice a few things. Each of these figures, the patchy blur that you saw on Julian, on each of them, not necessarily fading or in an blink of an eye either, just slowly moving across their body underneath their skin. The next thing you notice, several of them have, for example, an eye or a hand or various pieces missing here and there.
Oh,
additionally,
lovely.
in those, in the absence of such things, a facsimile of organic and green nature. Your guess would be plants, but you're not entirely sure as they don't quite look correct. And I'll say the last thing you kind of notice is they're all... Not only is their positioning all around the entirety of the party, they all seem to be staring at the center chandelier of the room.
Okay.
Do I spot anything with the chandelier?
Yeah, if you want to roll spot hidden.
Oh, no, before we came back out, I did reholster my gun. I'm not walking out to the party with that drawn.
Probably a wise decision.
He's got it.
Um, it's I got 68. I got spot hidden on 90.
Yeah, you notice there's something up in the chandelier. You just can't really get a good view of it. But there does appear to be something up in the chandelier.
I hate to alarm you, but this. We're just gonna point up towards the chandelier.
That is.
As they go to point up, I'm gonna put my hand out and put it on their arm and push it back down. Say, maybe it'd be best not to draw attention to it unless you draw attention to us.
Yes, let's not draw the attention of whatever weird, not quite human individuals are currently surrounding us.
Nah, that casual. Let's make our way through this.
Oh.
Yeah, so you all are kind of making your way to try and exit?
Mhm.
Yes.
All right. As you kind of make your way around, things do seem to be going on relatively smoothly. The figures don't seem to try and get in your way at all. And widely, things are normal. One moment.
Oh boy.
Oh.
Not
What
my
have we
preferred
got?
kind of party.
But you do, after a moment, hear some strange noises. You're not sure exactly where they're coming from, other than likely outside somewhere.
Oh no. And I'm gonna grab both of them. Is there a different room or not going outside? Do I see any of the fog?
It has since gotten dark outside, and there is a eerie fog. Thicker than perhaps the normal. You even see it kind of rolling up the windows as if barely contained from getting in.
Yeah, Shan, is there a room that we can hide in?
Barricade.
Yes, if you come down, we go to our quarters. We prepare like food down there, kitchen.
Okay, that sounds good. Let's go.
Yeah, and you sort of skirt around the edge of the room, doing your best not to draw attention or really stick out at all. And you are, in fact, about to successfully make it out of the room when there is a loud commotion. A sudden crash, the shattering of glass and perhaps crystal, as the chandelier that was previously at the center of the room, hanging above, has crashed to the ground. No one was hit with it. Everyone seemed to be out of the way, coincidentally enough. However, screams erupt as the chandelier falls. And it is now that you can see what was actually up in the chandelier. A contorted form of what was once a person. Bones seemingly bent in angles they shouldn't be. The skin in some areas torn. And a look of anguish across the face. They're still alive.
Oh,
And they're in
Are the party
immense
guests seeing
pain.
this?
The room
I'm gonna.
erupts into chaos. Yes, they also.
I'd like to rush over and offer a first aid if possible.
Yeah, you can rush over. I will say
Recognize
you
who
can
it is?
go ahead and roll first aid. Yes, you all do recognize who it is.
is it you, Leanne?
In a contorted, pained form, Yulian has been attached to the chandelier at various points, seemingly as if he was draped there dramatically on purpose. But he is alive.
Okay.
Oh, Lord.
So he's not fused with the chandelier.
He's
just
not
draped across
fused.
it,
He's
okay.
just there are points on the chandelier that very much go through him, as if he was pushed onto it with such force that it pierced him.
So he's
I got-
impaled by the chandelier. But, like,
Um,
from the top, not the bottom.
yes.
Right. Okay.
Avo, you
Yeah?
can roll first aid. You do. Your first note is, although he does very much seem to be in anguish, there's only one real wound that looks like it would cause danger to him at all, which will be relatively easy for you to guarantee help. It's just a matter of permanent damage is what we're rolling for. Around his throat, it seems like there's a gash, and your first aid or medicine, I think it's medicine in Call of Cthulhu, will be to see if, rather than to save him, you can guarantee do that. Rather than to save him, is to see if you can mitigate any damage that's been done.
I have a skill first aid.
Oh, there is the first aid skill then. Then yeah, you can do that one in particular.
I rolled. I got a 42.
And your first aid skill is
50.
50. Then yes, you quickly jumping into action, just start doing everything you can. You kind of move him off the chandelier, get him in a better resting position. One of the other staff brings you a sort of kit that you have, and you're able to get him in a point where he will be stable and presumably not get worse. Your quick thinking seems to have, at least currently, appears to have prevented any permanent damage. And
Oh.
the party is, of course, in a bit of chaos. People are rushing out. No one wants to be here. They're not sure what's happening. They're scared. They are going. And the figures you notice around the room aren't there. Quickly silence starts to fall upon the house.
Grab Avery's arm.
Are there any other servants or anything in the house?
All of the servants are still there. They're more rushing about. You see one of them is immediately rushing out. They're presumably going to the doctor.
Okay.
He's very clearly going to need help, if nothing else, because he is quite obviously very injured.
Where's the worst? We can see where the worst of the injuries are, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what
Um,
Shan's tending to, right? The gash on the neck.
Yes. Very
Yes.
particularly, Avery. You notice the gashes on the neck. Avo, you would notice this too as you're tending to it. And if Clara comes over, she might notice if she's particularly inclined to investigate, though something tells me she might not want to look too closely, given the demeanor. But the wounds seem to be on the neck, almost as if a scalpel had carefully cut it, which is why it's so easy to tend to. It was very cleanly cut, as if something was trying to be removed. Or was removed, maybe. You're unsure.
keep pressure on it.
Yep.
Else they might bleed out.
I've done this before. I can do it again.
Avery shouldn't a look at that, filing that away in the back of his mind.
As you're all kind of gathered around, he, for a moment, before realizing it's probably best that he doesn't try, he almost seems to try and speak to you, but of course, a gurgling splat of blood is all that really comes out, so he saves his energy for now. His eyes do look terrified.
could do this to how did you get up there though?
I think
Not-
we
nothing to
know
worry about
how.
right now. Just worry about keeping them alive for now. We can ask questions later. Now, you're gonna need some more security to keep them. Don't let them leave the grounds.
It is now, Cassandra is obviously there and trying to get things sorted. She seems less worried about any of this. Not in a sort of doesn't care manner, more of a I trust my staff to tend to this and keep it proper kind of way. So she doesn't necessarily seem worried about Yulian, more of what the hell is going on. And she's kind of flying about. Vera is also there, her eyes looking distant as she has just seen her son sort of displayed broken for some reason. She kind of looks vacantly from at the top of the stairs at the balcony. And other than that, other servants rushing around, a few of them helping to tend to Yulian.
I'm gonna turn to Claire and say, "You seem like you know what's going on here, or at least have some kind of notion." You said you saw something.
Have seen many things in the last 3 days. This being one of them.
You saw this, like you knew it was gonna happen.
In a way, yes. Not this specifically, but in a way, I knew something terrible was going to happen tonight, and I knew the man with the piercing blue eyes was involved. Just as I know
He's involved in a
that
lot more than this.
going outside is a terrible idea
You see
right
things,
now.
huh?
Too many things.
You got a touch of magic about you?
Psychic.
That crest that we saw. You ever seen that before?
Have I seen it before, Micah?
No, probably not. You would have to be looking for it very specifically to have found it.
Okay.
Are there any?
No, I haven't, but I
Oh.
did see the eye plants.
Shit! Look at this. I'm gonna pull out the sketching
Mm-hmm.
I had made earlier of the crest and show it to her. Say, does any of these symbols on here look familiar to you?
Do any of them look familiar to me?
So the crest he had sketched down does noticeably seem like one of the symbols you may have briefly seen in the book when you got a quick glance at it.
Ah, okay. Well,
Let's see. That is all you initially notice. Ava,
okay.
momentarily. While you are tending to Yulian, kind of just doing one more check over before the doctor will shortly be arriving and, of course, probably taking over. As you're doing your last kind of once over, can you roll me a spot hidden?
Oh my god.
Oh no,
61.
Avo.
A
But
61?
thankfully my spot hidden is 90, so I got 61.
With a 61, yes. You notice two things out of place. On Yulian's left hand, you of course know Yulian isn't married. Hasn't shown, well, he has shown interest in people, but not openly. Of course, you being around them, you know. But on his hand, he has his ring finger has a gold ring that has some sort of symbols inscribed in it, and on top is a striking emerald.
Oh, I'm gonna try and take that. I'll just try and slip that off.
You easily do so. Additionally, as you're kind of looking him over, you also find clutched in his hand, he almost like seems to try and get it to you, however it's hard for him to move on his own given his state. He hands you a crumpled up, old, weathered piece of paper.
I'll pocket that and final handover preparation.
Yep. And you hand over, and I'll say the doctors arrive, and he is kind of put on a stretcher and taken to his room. Thank you for the hydrate.
What, Julian? I will reconvene with. Are you still hanging around, or are you guys? Have you already left?
No, we're still here.
Oh, I'm staying put.
Cool. I will reconvene with those two.
Is the fog still outside? Is it rolling with the window still?
At night there's always a fog about the town. However, it does seem to have mostly dissipated now. Not as thick or ominous as it was.
So it's thinned out.
Mhm.
All right. I'm gonna go to pat Claire's hand and walk over to Vera. And
Okay.
hat in my hand, say, Miss Buford,
Yes.
this is tragedy. Now, I have some friends, and I'm sure you're acquainted with them as well, in the sheriff's department. We can look into this for you, but I'm gonna need you to tell me what you know about anything that's coming to your house or any dealings your son might have had with anyone you normally haven't dealt with normally.
Been having a friend, we'll call it, over. I don't pry into his dealings. But one of the items we were given to auction today was a collection of papers about town history and such, and local myths and legends that have come through Eden over the years. He was, of course, placed in charge of keeping it. He's quite reliable about everything he does, so we let him keep it. And he did do some looking. A lot of it was assorted scraps that didn't really mean anything. Or at least I presumed. It was a few days after we got the book. He had kind of closed himself in his greenhouse for a few days. And I was less than happy about that. I might not have handled it as well as I could, but I more than politely requested that he join us for dinner, and he did. And he was a lot more outgoing than I would usually see him. He kept talking about some sort of, I guess, plant in the swamps that has not been discovered. And he had been going to look for it.
You mean going out to look for it? Did he give it a name or maybe a description?
The only thing I know he mentioned is it can see. Something about it being a sentinel, or a watcher, a warden, maybe. It was a bunch of nonsense to my knowledge, but he wanted to go look for it, and he's never had problem near the edge of town before, so I didn't question it. A few days later, he started getting a guest, and at first it seemed regular, just kind of, I was happy he was out of his shell, I guess. I didn't really care about why or how. But as time went on, he started to act strangely. He's been even more reclusive than usual for the most part. Always talking about his plants and his book. The book. Whatever it was.
The book. Now,
And he
how do
always
these items
seemed paranoid. Like,
how do these items come into your hands for auction?
we
Who
have,
gave them to you?
Well, as for the rest of them, we have all of them listed. The book was offered to us specifically by the college, but they didn't say who found it or who was offering it. And
Is that usual?
It is not uncommon for books to just be found and with no one really specializing in them to just pass them off, especially given some of them seeming like nonsense. So
So there was no provenance to the items you had.
Most of the other than the book being about local lore, there was a couple other things. Some sort of bone from when the town was founded, or
Bone, a human bone, animal bone.
a decorative sort of piece that was belonged to the original mayor. I think it's some sort of not whale, but it's quite large. I don't know what it could have been, but I think it was from some sort of aquatic creature at the time. But we
Decorative. Now, was
haven't
this,
necessarily looked more. It was carved with all sorts of things.
like Scrimshaw.
Yeah, something similar to that effect.
Do you think we could take a look at that?
And she kind of hesitates. I believe that was also left with Yuli, and I can see if he has it somewhere. And
I can wait till
she,
tomorrow.
again, she mostly just seems very out of it.
I can wait till tomorrow, ma'am. You just rest the night, see your son. I'm sure everything will be fine.
And with a curt kind of nod, she, if no one else has any questions for her, she sort of leaves to go.
I'm gonna grab her hand for a moment, and just
stop
kind
and
of look at her. It would be best if you and your family stay inside for a while and stay in the light. And let go of her hand.
She pauses for a moment and gives a kind of shaky nod. As she leaves. However, before she fully leaves, she kind of turns and looks to Avo. She still seems at a loss for words, but she's not. You see her stumbling with her words before she finally says, "Could you assist them in however they need?"
Certainly. I will do my best.
Thank you.
I'll just go slightly courtesy and head over to them.
Yeah.
Okay.
What is everyone's next kind of course of action?
I guess I will let them know that I have been asked to help you in any way I can with the investigation.
No, this is normally my forte. I'm not much of an investigator, but I know how to look for things. Can you take us to where these auctions items are kept?
Certainly. But I think I should flag some rather odd discoveries I found upon his body.
Please
Of the pla-
do.
of the
Let's discuss it
pla-
elsewhere.
Yes. Follow me to. I'll lead to my quarters. Just because it's somewhere that I know and it's kind of off the beaten path of the main hallways of the house. Just follow me.
Yeah, and you
Yeah, we'll follow.
you kind of make your way to the staff quarters. Notably, the house is obviously very sprawling. The entire estate is quite large. I won't say labyrinthian, but it does seem easy enough that you could get lost in here, not given the trained eye of your company. But easily enough, you make your way to your quarters.
Uh, um, Sorry, it's not much space, but anyway, back to I noticed when looking for other possible wounds, upon his ring finger, I found this strange ring. Um, I've never seen him wear it before, and he's not engaged or married, so I'm a bit perplexed. I'm just gonna
I'll
spot the ring.
I'll just take a look at it and just.
I'm moving a
for it.
dresser in front of the door.
Be careful, madame.
Listen, darling, you know what? There is enough going on here that we are. This is going in front of the door. This is going in front of the door.
I very well.
Avery, you're looking over the ring.
Yeah, and I don't have much experience with the occult outside of some of the stranger things that I've seen hunting men down out west. So to me, this just looks like witchy shit.
Yeah, it at first appears to just be a normal kind of wedding ring with emerald as the main gemstone feature. However, upon closer inspection, the ring is actually much more ornate. However, aged, so not as noticeable. On the inside, of course, there are several strange markings, maybe some form of writing, but you can't see. It's not English or any other widely known language, seemingly. The band itself, upon closer inspection, actually appears to be like several almost vine-like sets of gold bands that are all wrapped together to make the main ring. And
Craftsmanship, but
the emerald, noticeably, no matter how you turn it in the light, does not reflect. It is very clearly a regular faceted gem, but it doesn't seem to reflect any light.
yeah. Miss Clara, you've got some experience with witchy shit like this.
That I do. There we go. Yeah. Hand it over.
Clara, you can, if you're trying to identify it, roll appraise or occult, either or.
Okay. I got a. Hold on, I want to know which one's higher. Looks like occult is higher. Yeah. I got a 28.
28. All right. It is at first, obviously just a wedding band. However, with your knowledge, it appears to be some form of, I guess, not exactly a curse on it, but you can tell there's some form of hex on it, and your guess would be a kind of hex that would maybe lead the wearer or whoever it was meant for to be more easily persuaded or manipulated, perhaps.
Okay.
You also note in the emerald, uh, it doesn't exactly look like there's something in it, but it almost seems to be moving on the inside, I guess. How would I think of it? Like a crystal ball, maybe, sort of,
Mm-hmm.
as you peer into it. Nothing immediately appears to you or anything. You just note that as you look at it.
Mm-hmm. Well, uh, when did you, Shan, when did you say you saw, have you seen him Julian wear this ring at all in the last
Yeah.
few days, or just tonight?
This is the first time I've seen him wear it.
You would
Well,
note a ring like this. It's not necessarily particular gaudy, uh, and given Yulian's reclusive nature, it might have been simple enough. He could have been wearing it. It just wouldn't necessarily be the most noticeable.
I mean, Julian was very reclusive. I don't think I would have seen it, but it's not something that I know he wore before. The times I've seen him recently, up until I guess today, he wasn't wearing it.
well, it contains a hex,
A hex.
designed to persuade the wearer, or rather, make them more easily suggestible.
Suggestible. So it was messing with his mind, or
Someone was doing this on purpose.
Someone was doing this on purpose, yes. My
you
guess would be our not so friendly friend.
you sure we're safe with that thing in the room?
Well, you'd have to wear it for it to work. But there is something in it.
In it.
The emerald, there's something in it.
Like what?
I don't quite know. It's just. Did either of you see that ink patch on Julian's face?
On his face, no, but I saw something on his hand underneath the skin. It looked like
That.
dark.
Shift in him, yeah.
And I'm just gonna point at the emerald. What it is, I have no idea. But what I do know is, having heard what Miss Vera had to say, what I have experienced in the last few days here in town, and what we all just witnessed in the last several hours, we are in some deep shit.
Well, I'd certainly say. Um, is there a telegraph office in town anywhere?
Yeah, there would be an office that you could probably you would know of.
Okay. Well, shit. I don't think there's much else we can do for now, but I might reach out to the marshals back in Texas tomorrow and see what kind of help we can get out here, because I feel like this is bigger than us.
I would caution you against that. Things like this, the more food you bring it, the hungrier it becomes.
Food. They saying it's gonna eat our minds?
I don't know, but I do know that whatever was in the fog tried to eat me, and that, well, my expertise would tell me that there is some sort of sacrifice being made.
Well, I can tell you this. Our blue-eyed man's been involved with a string of odd murders. I'd almost call them ritualistic things cut out of people.
Yes, surgical removal.
What
Like the people that were here earlier, missing parts.
the ones no one else seemed to notice?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, wait.
I almost forgot. I'm gonna reach into just there was this paper. Julian tried to hand it to me. I've
I'll
not
take
looked
it
at
from
it yet.
Shin.
Yeah, and you uncrumple the paper, and it appears to be a page, perhaps from the book. You don't immediately recognize the writing, even if you know the language. It's one of those where you think it might be a while to translate. However, you see notes scrawled on the side in Yulian's handwriting. Amongst the notes, one particular thing stands out for you. Aradath is watching. She's been watching and she knows. Do not breathe in the spores. Do not breathe in the spores. And with that, we will end today's session.
What a good cliffhanger! I love that.
I would like to thank everyone that showed up for coming, and I would like to thank you players for joining. I don't know immediately yet when our next session will be, but I have a feeling everyone is excited to see what happens next.
I'm gonna start screaming, Maiko. I'm just gonna start screaming.
I'm gonna figure out a way to shoot smoke.
I am going to find us someone to raid. I don't think what you wanted to raid into is up yet. Is it, May?
No, it's not. It's not. It's okay.
Then yeah, I will switch us to the ending screen. But thank you all for coming, and I hope you all enjoyed.
Yeah, thanks for DMing.
This was so much fun. I'm gonna start screaming. Also, trying to keep track of Clara's like 17 million different accents is an experience.